So I made this video about BBC faking some footage, and because I included the faked footage, YouTube just blocked it worldwide. So I've re-upped it here with the faked footage slightly modified. Hello viewers, it's Aaron, and I just wanted to return to a subject I covered before, and it wasn't very popular last time with the shills, which was volcano hoax, which basically I came along saying volcanoes were all made up bollocks, and all the flat earth community pretty much went completely berserk. All the shills kicked me out of every group, they went bananas, and suddenly I found that I had this whole cabal of in quotes flat earth truthers calling me all kinds of nasty names and stuff because I was saying volcanoes aren't real. So I wanted to draw your attention to this fun story that I found because basically I'm into the volcano hoax thing, but I'm also a big fan of lightning and not that big a fan of the BBC, as people who watch my stuff know. So I was delighted to find a story that combines BBC hoaxing, lightning and volcanoes in one. So here we are. Basically, the BBC produced some footage, which I'm showing you, which I don't know if you can see, but it's a fake volcanic eruption with some crazy lightning going on inside the ash cloud of the eruption. So just to go back to the beginning, there is no such thing as magma, volcanoes, or ash clouds. And were there to be an ash cloud, there's no particular reason you would expect it to have lots of lightning appearing in it, unless it was just literally crying out for media attention, like the ash cloud actually just wanted to be in the papers, so it managed to somehow create some lightning to make itself more dramatic. It's just so ridiculous, the stuff. They just make stuff so fucking ridiculous. The only reason they decided to start sticking bits of lightning into volcanic eruptions was so they could confuse the issue about lightning, because obviously lightning has nothing to do with volcanoes and volcanic activity. So if they put it in this weird context, then it just confuses the match of lightning even further, because they don't want anyone understanding lightning for reasons I've talked about elsewhere, because atmospheric electricity is used all around us secretly by these masts. So they stick a bit of lightning in there, and then I guess they think it looks all sort of exciting, but they get a bit carried away with themselves, and they just go and hoax this stuff. They just go and hoax it for their nature documentaries, in quotes. So here we've got this. Here we got this article: BBC faked dramatic scenes in 2 nature shows, with filmmakers now ordered to retrain following serious editorial breaches. It says, staff will now have to complete a new anti-fakery course following the serious breach of editorial rules. So this is basically the BBC. They don't get busted this hard very often, this publicly, but when they do, their best response that they can come up with is to come up with the idea that people need to be trained not to go and be a bunch of lying, hoaxing scumbags. Like, they need to be trained not to hoax stuff. Whereas, obviously, the hoaxing of this stuff is highly technical and requires deep experience and a huge set of people and resources and a whole load of liars and people under oath and all kinds of stuff to make it possible. So there's a whole infrastructure of hoaxing. So they're all very highly trained to do the hoaxing. And now they have to run a story. So they're literally going to do training programs to train them how not to do all the hoaxing that they've been trained to do. It's so insane. So they're trying to sort of pass it off as like some kind of training failure, that they've accidentally just, there's some bad egg who's been poorly trained, so they've just gone off and totally hoaxed all this volcanic activity with a massive team of hoaxers and got it onto the telly. But no, that's not policy. That's just some bad eggs, a few bad apples in the barrel. Anyway, it says the BBC has come under fire. Should come under some fucking actual fire, has come under fire after it was found to have faked dramatic scenes in 2 of its popular nature shows. Nature shows, you're right. The corporation breached serious editorial rules in 2 shows, Human Planet and BBC Two show Patagonia Earth's Secret Paradise. Doesn't look like much of a paradise. It's got massive ash clouds coming out of like these sort of lava pimple mountain things and and lightning as well. It doesn't look like paradise, does it, the way they portray it? According to the governing body, the BBC Trust report, staff working in the broadcaster's flagship Natural History Unit have now been banned from working on future shows until they complete a new anti-fakery course. Okay, it's just okay. And all right, it says meanwhile a volcanic eruption in last year's Patagonia show was made to look more dramatic than it was, with filmmakers adding in footage from another eruption. So even after they get busted with this fake eruption with fake lightning in it that looks ridiculous, their response is to pretend that there were 2 genuine eruptions that they combined to make this fake eruption with lightning inside it. So they're just trying to gatekeep the thing even after they got busted. It's so ridiculous. You don't get eruptions, you don't get lightning storms inside eruptions, and BBC, everything they do is a bunch of total hoax bullshit. So anyway, they got busted, and I just thought that was quite fun because all these shills jumping up and down, going mental about how volcanoes are so real and so on. Well, it comes back to exactly the same question again. If they're real, okay, if there are real volcanoes which have real eruptions and real ash clouds, then why don't they try and film some of them instead of having to hoax every piece of footage we ever see? Because every piece of footage that you see of volcanoes, if you search on YouTube, it's all faked. Okay, and I can't go I've been to 2 volcanoes in quotes. I've been to Arenal in Costa Rica, and I've been to Vesuvius in Italy, and they were both just little mountains, and that was it. They were with a sign that said volcano at the top, and that was it. So unless there's any actual evidence anyone has that's verifiable, well, you know, the best they can do is say, oh, come to Hawaii. But then if you ask, where do I go in Hawaii? They're like, oh, actually, even if you go to Hawaii, it's not safe to go into any areas where you would actually see any lava. So it's just the same thing again. It's something you can't verify anywhere. It's just a load of old bollocks, isn't it? So unless someone's got any evidence, then, you know, why would we believe this fiery mountain nonsense? It's very silly. Anyway, BBC are busted, and that's it.